I just detest rude, unladylike young ladies.
I hope you don't mind me being a tad rude.
I myself am strange and unusual.
Don't be rude.
That is some weird, wild stuff.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's a scandal!
But it's provocative.
Please stop making me blush.
Welcome to Society Chats. I'm Rachel.
I'm Laura.
And this is our little bite-sized nugget of impolite society where we do all the bullshitting, shooting the shit, lots of shitting.
We're shitting?
Lots of the shits, apparently. I said shooting the shit, bullshitting. We just do all of the chit-chatting that a lot of other podcasts do in the beginning of their shows. We know you might want it, maybe. So we put it together conveniently outside of our main episode. So you can listen to it if you want, skip it if you don't. Or at the very least, it gives you a little taste of impolite society to hold you over between release dates.
Little slurp-a-slurp.
Yum. Speaking of yum.
I got a yum.
Yeah, what's tickling your taste buds this week?
Alone.
Oh, yes.
Okay. You know, Rachel, but I don't know if I talked. We have not talked about this in the show. I do not watch reality TV. I have a general ban on unscripted television.
You've talked about it on the show, and I believe you've passed some significant judgment against the kind of people who like the show, those kind of shows.
No, I know that I've talked against reality TV show. I'm saying I don't know that I've ever talked about Alone
or something like that along those lines.
But Alone is the one thing that gets a pass. And you turned me on to it.
I did, because I like the reality TV. And
I have watched, I don't know how many seasons, but you can't watch too many like back to back to back because you start to get immune to it, right? Mm-hmm. It starts to be the same shit, different day. And so it's been a while since I watched it. And then I saw the Australian season of Alone pop on Netflix. And I'm like, yep, play, watching. Very interesting, very good. And then I noticed that there was another season on Netflix of Alone that I hadn't seen. Started that. I fucking love that show.
It's a good one.
It's so good. And I think it's because it's like a lot of just people you don't see on television. You know what I mean? Like they're all exceptionally rural individuals, and kind of their perspective I think is very interesting. And there's so many aspects psychologically of the whole thing. It's interesting. If you don't know the premise, it's basically 10 people put on a super remote place. They are survival experts of differing levels, and the question is who is going to survive the longest wins the prize.
The key component is that you have to be alone, right?
Yeah.
Because so many of these other shows pair people up or put them in tribes, like Survivor.
Or they're alone, quote unquote, but they have cameramen there.
Like
there's nobody there. They film themselves.
Which is also impressive because not only do they have to be good at surviving, but they have to also have some kind of idea on how to like set up a shot.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting because I imagine
if you have all day, you probably figure it out.
Yeah, but I think they probably go through a very exhaustive, as in like reading a lot of people out, screening process. Like I think they do like test runs. So, like they send them out into like the wilderness for a day, and then are like, show me how you do this. Yeah, and because they have to get good footage.
Otherwise, you're just sending a person into the woods for no reason.
Exactly.
So, okay, some of my favorite Alone moments. There's like some that pop into my brain, and this just summarizes the show. Number one, the guy who took down a moose, and then they had to come pull him out of the woods. Essentially, he was going to survive all winter. He was going to make it.
Yep.
And the freaking Wolverine ate the moose fat that he had, and he had to kill it. And I felt so bad for the Wolverine because I'm like, it didn't choose to be there. But that's neither here nor there. The woman who filmed herself taking off her clothes, talking about how she loved her new body.
Oh yeah,
and how she like felt strong, and
she was like dancing in front of the fire naked.
Yeah, and then they pulled her out like the next day because she was emaciated, and you could tell from the video.
Yeah.
Another highlight is the cop that tapped after like 24 hours.
That I think was the first season, or like the first season that I saw. He was like all gonna be big man on campus, and yeah, within 24 hours, he's like, "You gotta come get me. There's bears and wolves here."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm done. I'm out," and I'm like, "That's right." Because that's the key trend that we were talking about. The more they talk, the bigger they talk at the beginning, the harder they fall.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm going to watch it once it's into my rotation, but I'm curious to see how Australians differ because I feel like the personalities, the vibes is going to be a lot more mellow.
It's kind of a mix. It was delightfully different in the sense that there were familiar notes, but yeah, there was definite cultural differences and just the terrain difference because where they are in Tasmania is not Arctic. You know, it's not balmy, but it's not Arctic the way the Canada seasons are. Because I think literally all of the U.S.
like Alaska,
alone.
Vancouver Island. There's one island on the Pacific Northwest that they go to a lot.
And the most recent one I watched, because I finished Australian Alone, and then I watched this other one, and this one is northern Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, just very different terrain, and it was very interesting. But I'm really interested to see your thoughts on Australia, because there was somebody very early on that I was rooting for so hard, and I just wonder what your thoughts are going to be.
Well, I'm excited to check it out. And I've been doing a little bit of my own research about Down Under from my own Netflix previewing. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think so.
But this is a drama series in the vein of Inventing Anna about
Belle Gibson.
Yeah, Belle Gibson. I'm sorry. I love Aussies. I think the personalities, they're always a hoot. They're so good-natured. I hate the accent. I think it makes you sound so dumb. And that's fighting words. Maybe just specific areas.
Yeah, I don't know like the
we
regional
guested-
differences, but I like Australian accents.
When we were in Ireland, we went on a pub crawl with, a group, and there was 2 Australians, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. You are such lovely people, but I do not like the accents.
Oh, and you were going to say when we guested on the...
yeah, but theirs was more tame. It's like there's some that sound more English, and there's some that sounds like English with a southern drawl, and that's the one that I'm not so big on, not so keen on. And so after watching this show about Australians, the con artist, the wellness guru who said she could cure cancer with diet,
yeah,
I just like every time the biggest takeaway is one, why did I watch this? It's gonna be sad. There's gonna be people with actual cancer in there, and I'm just like, shit, that's sad. And then B, I'm never gonna be able to say cancer again without
cancer
trying to say it like an Australian, because they must have. Every 30 seconds they were saying the word cancer.
So did you watch the documentary on Netflix or the
drama
fictionalized
series?
The drama series? Okay,
it was good. It was well done. I liked it. You know. Breaking the fourth wall was a big part of, not a big part of it, but a part of it.
I always like that in a show.
Yeah, and it just was like, it was kind of cool the way they did it. Still sad story, such a sad story. And I'm going to say it here, if my arm is threatening the rest of me, cut the arm off. I don't need it. I don't want it.
I have not seen it yet, but we did a recap on my other podcast, Nerds Talking. We talked about this just a few days ago. I do not want to watch Apple Cider Vinegar until I have a more solid understanding of
didn't even say the name.
That's
of
okay.
it.
I knew exactly what you were talking about. Before I had a more solid understanding of the factual aspect that it's based on, and Netflix just released the Instagram con artist, which is about Belle Gibson. So I want to watch that.
That's good synergy.
And then I'm going to watch Apple Cider Vinegar.
Yeah, I'll have to add that to my list after Alone. Once I've forgotten all about it. But I mean, we can't talk about Netflix and Netflix documentaries specifically without the real belle of the ball. Fuck you, Belle Gibson. The real belle of the ball right now is the Gabby Petito documentary, which my gut reaction was too soon. But it is made with the
But then you
blessing
did
of her
end up
parents.
watching it, so.
Well, because I saw comments. They were talking about how they were using AI to replicate her voice or whatnot.
Yeah,
and
they did a disclaimer when they did that, which I appreciated.
Yeah. But it was just like the way that they were telling the story was a lot more sensitivity to the victim, right? And with her parents' support and telling her story, and it's not just it's not her story didn't start the day she died, right? It kind of like covered her life up to it, and her parents and the baby pictures, and it rips your heart out.
It does.
Yeah, I'm not finished with it. I'm only watching the first 2 episodes. But
so you've got one left, because it's a 3-parter, I believe.
Yeah, but to the part where the rest of the country catches on and what's happening. So I've kind of lived that half.
Did you see the body cam footage of them when they went to the house of the parents?
Yes.
That was the thing. Because I had seen a lot of the footage. Like, I had seen her, like, when the cops pulled them over, the domestic violence intervention or whatever. I had seen that on the internet before. I'd seen some of the videos that she had released and things like that. But that body cam footage was new to me from start to finish, and because I don't think it had been released at all before this documentary. At least I had never seen it, and I was like, "What?"
Well, that stuff takes time, right? So then, the news cycle has moved on by the time the Freedom of Information Act pulls that out.
Yeah.
The one where they went to the parents, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was honestly the part that I had the least amount of problem with them, right? Is them just like being like, no, talk to our lawyer, because everybody has the right to that. That's like a right. What really got me was when they blocked Gabby's parents on their phones. Yeah. That's heartless. That's cold.
Yeah.
To not even say like, I don't know what you say, but something, right? Even if you are in the mindset, you're going to try
to... Or you just say, Brian is home. He doesn't know what happened to Gabby.
Yeah.
Or literally anything.
Yeah, this was the last place he saw her. Just so they have a jumping off, but they didn't want them... They didn't want them to find her, so that's...
Nope.
But it really took... I was trying to cast the benefit of the doubt because I didn't really know that much about the case. Just thinking like... Again, the book that I read about disaster psychology is like it's so easy to pass judgment on people who are in these situations because we know the whole story. Yeah. Like people in 9/11 and the World Trade Centers ran up to the roof.
Yeah, that's so sad because they didn't know.
Right. They had no idea what was happening. Yeah. And so in hindsight, we're like, why would you do that? But, they didn't have the information. So to me, it's like, oh, maybe they didn't know the whole thing, that he came back and said, we left. I don't know what happened to her. I'm going to get blamed for it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so they try to close the wagons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
circle the wagons, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that they didn't have anything and they just blocked out parents who were worrying about their kid, that's
well, and he called them. I don't know if you've seen that in the
he called them
episodes
20 times or something on the day she disappeared.
Yeah.
So
it was like it started on a 55-minute phone call that immediately ended with them hanging up and calling a lawyer.
Yeah, that's
And listen, I get it. That's my whole thing is like protecting your children, getting them a lawyer. Yeah, that is the right thing to do. You love your kid no matter what. You are going to try to protect them, but you don't, in my eyes, you don't protect them to the extent of your integrity, your compassion. Like you don't protect them at all costs. You protect them the best as you can while maintaining what's right.
Well, and protecting them is also helping them protecting their
the right
moral,
thing.
Yeah, and their soul. I mean, not that I believe in that, but it's just like you help them by helping them do the right thing.
Exactly.
Not, yeah, getting you a momentary what's going to be best for you in that moment.
Yeah. And that's my whole thing is like when, they as his parents and the fact that like, yeah, he's an adult, like you can't compel him to go talk to the cops. Like, but I can. You know what I mean? Like if I had a kid, they told me, a version of what happened, or they told me what happened. And then over time, like the cops are knocking at my door and their parents are texting me. I'd be like, listen, I have to do what I can live with.
Right.
I have to sleep at night. And so I can go to the cops and say, this is all I know. And he has a lawyer and he's refused to speak with you. And I support his decision in that. But I have to tell you what I know because I have to live with myself when this is all over.
Right. And the fact that they kept him like in the house when the police officer was there and they had her van. I'm like, what a flippin' idiot too. Like that's not even a good way to get away with a crime because it was anyways. Truly. That's neither here nor there. I saw some people talking about how his parents were probably more apt to do that because they had whatever personality defect that enabled him to kill his girlfriend.
That's what I said. I was like, shit. Well, no wonder why he ended up killing his girlfriend. He's raised by these psychopaths.
Well, abuse is cyclical, right? So, maybe that's what was going on in that house as well.
That's
but
fair.
I did see his sister. Like, I saw that part where his sister kind of tried to talk out a little bit. She said they've been iced out.
Her.
Yeah, I mean that they were not spared the wrath of the internet.
Yeah, I felt bad for her, the sister.
Because she probably did know the least, right?
Yeah.
And she said, I'm losing my parents and my brother. So
yeah.
She kind of grasped the gravity of it all.
And I think
was a
at
bit
this
more passive than she should have been.
I saw something on Reddit that said, and take this with a grain of salt, the internet, because I didn't verify it. I just read it. But they said that she posted something semi-recently, something of like, I haven't spoken to my parents in 2 years. And
Good for her.
Yeah. So,
I mean, because hopefully, she has kids. She's like, how am I going to raise my kids and like not, knowing that I contributed to this? That's,
yeah.
And
Deep
it's
thoughts.
and this case, for whatever reason, really grabs a hold of people's attention. And you see all kinds of reactions online. I guess because I somehow TikTok figured out that I was watching it or talking about it. And it started giving me TikToks about it. And people are just saying, there's people, the more kind of common side of like, oh, he's a monster, blah, 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 blah. And then there's also the side that people are like, oh, why would I care about her? She's an abuser. She did blah, 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 blah. And there's just like, there's a lot of anger towards her too. And this
why?
Well, because and who's to say? And there's like reactive abuse and all these kind of things. But these two were just a festering cesspit.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a relationship that was already on the frayed and on the edge, and they put it into a pressure cooker of being in a van 24/7
together.
Yeah. But she was involved, like the scratches on his face, and people were saying that she was like as abusive as he was.
You have no idea
of what's going on. But even if she was, that's still not a death sentence. Like,
no.
Come on.
Absolutely not. And also, I will say, whoever called the police on
him slapping her, which
he
they never asked about.
He had the model of the van, a good description. Like, that is a good citizen. And I trust him when he says that he was slapping her because he was, he had enough detail of saying, like, this is the van, this is where they went. Like, this is a concerned citizen who pays attention. And I believe him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they didn't know anybody. It wasn't like it was a plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just like, I think the heartbreaking thing, too, is just that she was maybe even younger than her years, like a little bit of a late bloomer. Of course she was.
That's every 22-year-old nowadays. They're really 16. Yeah, back when we were kids, it was
because the fact that when her relationship was imploding, she went back to her ex-boyfriend. Like, that's
I know
some shit that I would
was
have done
so
when I was
classic.
a young person.
Yes.
Yeah, being like he's gonna be the one to save her. And
I thought about him too, and I'm like, oh my god, that guy must live with a lot of guilt because he didn't take that last phone call from her. Because he was at work.
What's he going to do? He was 2,000 miles away.
I know, but still, I just know that would weigh on me. And it seemed like from his, the way he was talking, it weighed on him too.
Yeah, it's just a tragic situation all around.
It is. And I really liked Gabby's dad you haven't gotten to this episode yet. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Where they talk in the end about how Gabby's case got so much attention. There are thousands of indigenous and people of color who do not get this kind of attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her dad was saying, when I first heard that, I was not happy. By that association that people only care about my daughter because of the color of her skin, da 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 da. He said, but as time went on and I looked at it and thought about it, he's like, yeah, that's fucked up. And I'm like, I think he had a really good perspective on it.
Yeah. I mean, because that's just like, why this case? Like, women are killed all the time by their romantic partners. Why is this one?
Because she had people who cared about her. That's
Yeah.
I mean, she is a white, attractive, blonde woman who had people who cared about her. So when she went missing, they went into action. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, and that's what I have in my brain. Anytime I imagine somebody's gonna murder me, I'm just gonna be like, people love me. People will. You don't
People
want
will
to do
care.
this. You're not.
Yeah.
You don't want to do this. I'm not an easy victim, even though I don't really think anybody's trying to kill me. But that's like in my head. That's what I was saying. It's like when Tina. Never mind. I was going to talk about Tina Fey's memoir, but I don't need to do that. But it's just like people.
I know you don't like to talk about Tina Fey because she's problematic.
No, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense it's like me, us making obscure 30 Rock references that I don't know if anybody else gets. Because I do
fair.
my other podcast with my sister, and she's like, sometimes you say things, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, those are 30 Rock references. I'm used
you're
to
not
being
Laura.
able. Yeah, I'm used to being able to say them. And she's like, okay, but
Okay.
but it's just like, people will look for me.
Yeah.
They're not gonna just drop it.
I always think that, like, when because I consume a fair amount of true crime, and I look at these men who go after suburban women or whatever. I'm like, what are you doing? This is terrible, but like, advice: if you're a serial killer, do not go after young women that have families who love them. Like, you are just fucking yourself over.
Well, let's not give serial killers advice.
I know,
Step
but
one,
I'm just like, what?
jump in the river and then
What?
drown.
What?
Step 2, pick better targets. No.
Truly.
From the afterlife. Oh, man. Well, I think that's been everything I've been watching lately.
Yeah, kind of same.
Oh, Love
I'm
is
not really
Blind is out,
reading
but I know
anything.
you don't want to hear about
No.
that. New season
No,
of
I
Love
really
is
don't.
Blind. It's a
I really
snoozer.
don't.
But,
Ooh, I'm watching Severance. That's really
I'm watching
good.
Severance, too.
Did you finish the first season?
No, we just got to the point where they went camping on that little camping trip, and I called the twist.
Wait. You're on season 2, but you never finished season 1.
Oh, we finished season 1. Oh, sorry. I
Oh.
started watching it again because Dan wanted to watch it. So I used
Because I thought you said you started watching it and you
it
couldn't
didn't
get
catch
into
my
it.
interest. But we started watching it with Dan, and it just gives me excuse to sleep on the couch next to him.
Yeah.
So I catch bits and pieces, but I got enough of the plot because we both fall
It
asleep.
picks up, because I rewatched it with Austin, and it was like the first season, after 3 or 4 episodes, then you're like, oh shit, and you're really invested. It has a build,
Yeah, but okay, the camping episode, I hated. I thought it was so ridiculous and blew any kind of realisticness and realism.
I think that was kind of the point.
Oh, I don't know. I did not like it, but I did call that twist from the beginning of episode, the beginning of the season.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Same.
like, that's not. And it was funny because I talked about it with my dad, who had watched it already, and he knew. And I was like, I don't think that's her. Not
Yeah.
to get too much into it if you haven't watched it, but
I
Yeah.
am. So an episode airs tonight, and then I haven't watched the previous one. The last one I watched was the camping one. So, mum's the word.
yeah, okay, that's the last one we watched too. So there's one after that, isn't there?
Yeah, there was the one that released last week, and then there's one tonight.
Okay, well, Dan and I will probably be watching that sometime this weekend because it's his birthday weekend, and the kids are spending the night at Grandma and Grandpa's.
Oh, how nice!
It's lovely. Okay, so that's a lot of TV talking.
Yeah.
What's something you learned this week? I thought we were trying to make these a little bit more.
yeah.
I got a fun fact.
Okay,
so-
give it.
I learned about this thing called lectors, which is something that you think you know about.
Lecterns?
Lectors. Like lecturers, but it's something that happened back in the 60s, pre-industrial revolution, maybe a little bit industrial. No, it was a part of the industrial revolution. So factory workers doing menial tasks 14 hours a day, they you would go fucking mad. So all of the employees there would chip in together to pay someone to read them books, or read them the news. And
It's like old-timey podcasts.
Yes, that's why I was like, I learned that. I was like, no way. It's like the OG podcast. So you could go be rolling cigars in Cuba, which is where it started, and somebody's reading you freaking War and Peace while you're working.
Awesome. I
suddenly-
love that.
Yeah, that's so human. And like suddenly that doesn't sound so bad, you know, because as I clean my house with my audiobooks in my headphones,
It's the fucking best.
Yeah,
if no one
drown
is
out my
bothering me, oh my God, it's so nice. There are times when I'm like, all I want to do is clean this house with my headphones in and nobody talk to me.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what I learned. Lectures is a fun little thing. It was interesting bit of history, but definitely not enough to make a full episode on. So that was the fun thing that I learned this week.
Fun facts. I have one about glitter, but I don't have my notes in front of me. It's a little bit more intensive, so we'll
save that.
Table
we'll
that
leave everybody
for
on
another
the
day.
edge of their
Edge of their glitter. On the edge of your glitter.
Yep. The glitter is coming.
All right.
Can't wait to learn more about it.
All right. Well, this is it for Society Chats. I think I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, I thought the lecturer thing was going to take longer, but no.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I learned it from this lady who sings weird songs on TikTok, so God bless her.
Did you verify it, though?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe
I have
she's
an article
making it
pulled up.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah, because she started
I don't
singing
trust
songs-
anything I hear on TikTok.
She started singing songs about dragons. It's the first time I saw her, but then she also just started doing weird history, like in weird songs.
That's fun.
I do like her.
Send me her stuff. I think
Okay,
I'd probably like
I'll find it. It's out there somewhere, starting with lectures. And then we can just make this the Rachel Talks About TikTok She's Seen podcast.
That's fine by me.
The
'Cause this
TikTok
is us,
review, is
just
that
us.
out there? I'm sure somebody has a podcast.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, but also, just kidding. I don't want to spend that much time on TikTok.
All
right.
right.
We will see you there.
Next time. Next episode. Don't know what
Talking
order
about-
these go in, but
Yeah, it's around, but hopefully it's somewhat topical.
rate, subscribe, review. Let us know what you think. What are you watching?
Tell us.
Yeah.
Give us recommendations.
Yeah, everyone needs a good show recommendation. You can email us, rootedinpolitesocietypodcast.com. You can comment on YouTube. You can send us a text message to the link in description if you are listening on a podcast app. Just let us know you're here. Just literally send us hi.
That would be
Hi.
nice.
That would be nice.
It's the void out there. Hello.
We know people are
hello,
listening because we
hello.
see the stats. So
Yeah,
you're out there.
At least 30 seconds.
And in that note,
We'll see you next time on Society Chats.
lame.
Why was that lame?